Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's show of Comfortable, Confident, Inside and Out. And thank you, Jennifer, for being here.
Thank you.
Are you an overthinker for your job search process? Maybe you're afraid to speak up about your personal value and get paid for what you deserve? Or does the thought of making a career change create anxiety? Well, if you said yes to any of these questions, then this show is probably for you. Because our guest today is Jennifer Morris, and she's here to share her easy steps to help you approach your job search with confidence and stand in your worth. But before we get started, you might be wondering who I am and what this show is all about, and those are two really great questions. So I'm Suzanne. I'm a holistic stress relief mentor, founder of Transform Connections. I'm a national wellness speaker and the group leader of Empowered Tapping Revolution, the popular women's-only tapping Facebook group. I'm host of many online shows, including this show, Comfortable, Confident, Inside and Out, Let's Tap, and Tapping Open House. For the last 10 years, I've been helping women all over the world to relieve anxiety, quit overthinking, build confidence, to improve their relationships, their health, get into alignment with who they truly are, and help them move through some important life transitions, all using energy tapping. So this show, Comfortable, Confident, Inside and Out, is a place where I bring you top mentors in areas of health, wellness, business, and finance to give you their wisdom and guidance for you too to be able to feel comfortable and confident inside and out. So our guest today is Jennifer Morris. She's an executive career coach. She owns her own business. She has been a featured speaker at over 500 job fairs, employment conferences, and management workshops. She's an active member of the professional associations of resume writers and career coaches, and is sought out by so many women needing help in finding their inner voice and value in their next career. She joins us today with her passion, her good vibes, and everything that she's got to share her top tips with you. Before we get started, I want to just say hi to everybody that's watching. So if you're here, please hit the like button or leave us a yes in the comments, or just say hi and let us know you're here with us. And if you have any questions during the rest of this time we're together on this show, pop them in the chat window and we'll make sure to get back with you. So Jennifer, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Please tell us about yourself and what it is that you do.
Yeah, thank you for having me. So as you said, I work now in my own business as an executive career coach. To give you kind of some background, so my corporate work history, straight out of college, I started as a recruiter and was recruiting for about 4 years, and then went on into sales and management positions, eventually landing as a director of talent acquisition for a company. There were lots of twists and turns along the way. I'm a single mom, so I have 2 kids who now are in college, but obviously spent a lot of time with them in their activities, plus managing a career on the side, it feels like. So,
wow.
Yeah, so I really found that over the years, I was really using that base that I learned from recruiting, and really knew how to steer my career to make it possible for me to be there for the kids, to bring in the income I needed to make. I live here in Southern California and it's not cheap. So really had to put those skills to work to make sure that my job fit with my life. So more recently, in recent years, as I was deciding to start the business, really started to think through kind of what's the value I bring to the world and how can I help other people. And now I'm in a place where I am happily and very excited to help other women who are either in a similar situation, or maybe not a single mom, but somebody who's really just trying to figure out their career and the next steps, and how do I get there, and how are people perceiving me. All of those little things they're basically the conversations I have every day with many job seekers out there. So it's been, quite the journey, but it's super fun now. I love the job search process, and I may be the only person you've ever heard say that.
I never hear anybody say that. So glad you're out there being enthusiastic about it.
Yeah. No, it's been a great journey so far.
Wonderful. I know you have something great to share with us today for all those ladies out there that might be listening and going and approaching a potential job search, or maybe in the middle of a job search, and maybe trapped in some overthinking or some anxiety. So I know you've got some great tips to share with us. So let's hear what you got. Let's hear what you got.
Yeah. So why don't we start with the overthinking? Oftentimes I find people that are in a job search or even in a job where they're unhappy and considering a move, overthinking starts to kick in. And so you start to compare yourself to others. You start to wonder, am I in the right job? If I want to switch jobs, who's out there that's better than me? Or what job would it be? And how would I present myself to that job? How do I even find those jobs? Am I even in the right industry to begin with? So you really start to think through and the mind starts to wander. And I think in starting to think through each of those pieces, you take a deep dive inward, and sometimes people just get stuck there and they can't get to the answer. Or if they start to take action and they're in a job search, you start to get stuck up, hung up on all of the little pieces. So is my resume telling the right story? Nowadays, LinkedIn is huge. So is the LinkedIn profile saying what I need it to say? Am I attracting the right eyes to the profile? When I'm interviewing, am I really coming across well? I oftentimes will hear people overthinking the process and starting to create problems for themselves that may or may not even be there. So one example would be that people think, oh, well, it's my age. I'm not advancing in the process because, I'm older, have too much experience, or I'm overly qualified. So there's a ton of things that you start overthinking along the way.
Then you try and start answering those questions for yourself. And so, ladies, if you're listening in and you're like, oh yeah, I know that every time I think about leaving my job, I'm spun up in all those questions that Jen's talking about right now. I mean, that's probably what I would have thought too a couple of years ago when I considered leaving my job. So if you agree with us, like, let us know if this is what you struggle with too, or share whatever it is that's going on in your overthinking mind.
Let it all out.
Yeah, exactly.
I have these conversations every day. So whenever I see somebody in the process of overthinking, what I try and do is translate it into a problem-solving situation. And so, okay, let's think it through. What do you think the problem is? Why do you think that's the problem? And then let's commit to some productivity. Like, what are we going to do about it? How are we going to put it to rest and stop dwelling on this? So that's some of the work I end up doing with clients, is just let's translate overthinking into productivity and solve a problem, and then let's keep moving forward. That problem is solved. Let's move on to the next.
Do you have a simple example that you could share with us of some kind of overthinking thought that there's a problem solution, productivity solution for?
Yeah, so the ageism one comes up a lot. And so we tend to think once we have a lot of experience, perhaps we're overqualified for the role. And what I actually find and found as a recruiter, it's not your age that's the problem. It's all of the stereotypes that may come with it. So an employer is really concerned if you're an older applicant, and older can be anything in anybody's mind. I have people who come to me and say, oh my gosh, I'm 36, I'm over the hill. And I'm like, oh, no, you're not. But an employer would be more concerned not about the age, the number, but about what could come with it. So if you do have a lot of work experience, perhaps more than the manager who may manage you in the new role, are you going to be easy to manage? So it's not your age, it's are you going to be manageable or not? Are you going to be happy in the role? So are you a flight risk? If you are overly experienced, why are you attracted to this role? You need to be able to tell that story and show that you're a good solution based on your experience versus you're too experienced. Those are a couple of the examples, but typically it's not just the age, but what comes with it and what questions do they raise in the employer's mind that we should focus on answering.
I love that. I would never have thought about any of those perspectives to get my head unlocked from the ageism worry that I may have, I mean, I'm 48, so I probably would have thought that too, had I not gotten into business for myself. But yeah, I love that you've got the answers to that to be able to kind of just, quench the fear, and
Right.
then approach that, like you said, productively. So, wow, that's fantastic. Thank you for sharing that example.
Yeah, sure. So another thing I find that comes up, and this is really common more so in women than men, and that is really understanding your self-worth. And I don't just mean it from a perspective of kind of your own internal confidence, though that it can be a part of it. What I mean is the value that you're bringing to an employer, really doing the research to know kind of how does that translate into a salary or a job offer package, as well as negotiating for that amount. So when I was a recruiter, I typically, for the most part, knew that if I was presenting an offer to a woman, there was only a small chance she was going to negotiate with me. Super sad, in my opinion. And I would sit at the other end and be like, please negotiate with me, because I knew I had more room in the offer. But, I've got a budget I need to stick in. I'm trying to work with what the hiring manager can pay. So I found that about 70% of men and only about 30% of women would actually try to negotiate with me. It's astounding to me. And it was something that, as a recruiter sitting on that side of the table, like I wouldn't then turn around and try and coach somebody on that. But my friends and family that come to me when they're in the job search, and this was even before I started my business, this was like my hot button of like, don't leave money on the table. The first offer is rarely the best offer. There's always things to negotiate on. So some of the ways you can, so kind of to solve this problem, some of the ways you can do this, one is really just do some basic research on what your skill set is worth out in the market. So there's websites like salary.com. LinkedIn, the premium subscription, has recently done an upgrade, and they now give really good salary insights on the portal there. So the premium subscriptions, if you are a job seeker, they'll start hammering you to purchase a premium subscription. You get the first 30 days free, so I always recommend taking the free trial. You get really good insights into things, salary specifically, and then decide if you want to continue or not. But at least take the free trial. Don't just ignore it and put it to the side. So know what you're worth out there. And then from there, when you do receive an offer or start talking salary, know what the company's budget is. So oftentimes employers, and I did this as a recruiter, employers will say, okay, what are you looking for salary-wise? And then they shut up and they sit there and you freak out and you're like, what's my number? And you're trying to name a number. I advise clients, men or women are more uncomfortable with this than men, but I advise clients to put the question back on them. Don't name your number first. So when they ask the question, my response is, well, I'm sure you have a budget for this role. What's your budget? And then I shut up. And, they don't always name the number. They still want me to name a number. And, I won't go back and forth many times, but I try to at least tell them, I'm aware, I've done my research. I know what the positions generally pay in this industry, for my level of experience. Where do you think we should be? So I let them name the number. And then once you get to kind of an initial offer, understand what is negotiable. I've been in situations where I've been offered a salary and told this is at the top of our range. So to me, that says, okay, they can't go any higher in salary because of the budget. But then I've gone on to negotiate $10,000 more in a signing bonus or something else. So there's always little pieces that make up the total offer that you should consider. So that, again, some of the work I do with clients is not just on getting the confidence up to negotiate and doing the research, but then all the little pieces you can negotiate as well.
I love it. You're such a wealth of information. It's so much wisdom pouring through. I love it. It's so exciting. So exciting. There are just so many women on this group I know who share with me that they're going through a job search or that they are contemplating a different career change that's more aligned with who they are, but they probably might not have as much experience in that new industry, but yet they've got a passion for it, and they don't yet still confidently stand in their value. And if this is something that resonates with the women who are listening here, please chime in and let us know. Hit the like button, hit the little heart-shaped button, share with us a comment or something. Or maybe you remember being in an interview and didn't know that you had more flexibility to be even actually negotiating after what Jennifer told you. Maybe next time you'll be able to say, hey, wait a minute, I know that there's some other room here, or have a different strategy.
Yeah.
Wow. So
the other thing, Suzanne, that's probably important to bring up is negotiating doesn't just happen at the job offer. Obviously that's going to set your baseline with an employer for when you start, but you might be in an annual review or ready for a raise or the next step in your career. And maybe it's just an upward move or even a lateral move in your current role. And there's a negotiation piece that comes along with that too. So that's advice not just for job seekers, but for anybody who's at that point where you're taking a next step in your career.
That's brilliant. Yeah, I think that annual reviews are a good opportunity to kind of take a look at the baseline and move that needle.
Yes.
Especially if you've had a great year or know that you've increased your talent or your skill or have more to share for the next year.
Know your value.
Know your value. I mean, that's so much of what we're all learning in today's day and age as a woman, is that we have really compromised our value to belong outside of ourselves because of the structure of rules that were set by people way before us. And we're all, shifting that paradigm to come more into who we are personally and how important that is to us, and fiercely protecting our value about, who we are and the importance of who we share ourselves with. And that translates into our job, because that's where we exchange most of our value, is through the monetary system of the jobs and careers that we have.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And a piece that I have always considered in differences between men and women and kind of the societal norms. I had a mother and father, both professionals, but I would hear my dad in conversations with other men, and they talked business, and these were his friends, but they would talk business, they would talk money, they would talk, negotiating, like all of that was a part of their just regular communication and topics of conversation that they'd have in their relationship. I never heard my mother talk about money or talk about, even she would talk about her job. She was a nurse, so she'd talk about patients and how she dealt with patients and, problems that would come up, but it was never about like the business side of her work. So one thing I really advocate for among my friends group and among women who I have worked with or managed or coached at this point, is really to form some of those alliances with friends or even family who have that same type of business mind or business mentality, and have these conversations. I gave you a little bit on how to negotiate, but there's plenty of ideas out there, and there may be somebody within your circle who can help you understand business from another perspective and give you ideas on how to grow your own career. So build that into your socializing, I'd say.
Right. They said that the top 5 people that you surround yourself with are the ones that are influencing you. So definitely add at least 1 or 2 of those good nuggets of connection into your daily conversation to help you be more comfortable in that tone of that topic, because it has been something that women don't necessarily, are used to talking about, or being as comfortable maybe as men. So
right.
A great tip. Well,
yeah.
I really have to just appreciate you so much for being so effortless and comfortable and conversating with me today on this topic. It just seems like it's so natural to you, and maybe because you've sat on both sides of the table. And I know that there's so many women out there that you're going to be helping just with what you've shared today. So I thank you so much for doing that.
Of course, absolutely.
So I know you had something special that you wanted to offer and share with the women who are listening today.
Yeah, so I've actually got an offer. It is not advertised on my website, so you'll need to get in touch with me and we'll have links available for you to do that. But so normally my coaching, I do one call, or I also have program or like a package for a monthly support program. Normally my one calls are $249. For this group, I'm offering a $99 deal. So it's the deal of the century. Like I said, it's not advertised. It is actually my friends and family price. So if you are interested at all, or job searching, or thinking about launching a search, feel free to get in touch with me, and we'll give you that offer, and obviously take advantage of that time together.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for that offer. And just so everybody's listening, I'm going to have all of Jennifer's information in the description box of this video, no matter if you're watching it on Facebook or YouTube or LinkedIn, all the information of how to get in touch with her. And all you need to do is mention comfortable and confident inside and out that you watched her on this show today, and redeem your special $99 special with her. I mean, from what we've heard today, she is just an amazing source of wisdom and information and passion about what she does, and really wants to help you land that career that's in alignment with who you are and the value that you bring when you exchange your life with the places that you spend the most time, and that's where you work. So, well, maybe not. Maybe also with family, but your 9 to 5 maybe is in that space. So Jennifer, thank you so much for sharing all your wisdom with us today. And as I mentioned, all your contact information was in here. So any last words?
No, I would say, good luck if you're out there thinking about a job change or in the middle of it. Good luck with it. Stay strong. Keep your confidence up, and go forth and prosper.
Well, thank you everyone for being here today. We look forward to reading your comments, your questions. Please make sure to hit the like button, or say hello to us, or leave some kind of note that shared that you've listened with us and been here with us today. And remember, every week right here on the Empowered Tapping Revolution, Mondays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll have new episodes of Comfortable, Confident, Inside Out, where I bring you top mentors in areas of health, wellness, business, and finance to share their great, amazing wisdom and tools to help you feel more comfortable and confident in your quest. So thank you so much for listening, and we will see you on the next video.